Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jay Zahn, and today we've got a Division B West matchup for you. Assistant Newb Managers versus Team Rainbow Strike Go. And I have the pleasure of having a co-caster with me this time around for the second match in our doubleheader tonight. Rabid Penguin, my teammate on Regen Reborn, is joining me. How you doing, Rabid?
Hey, doing pretty good.
Sweet. Well, it looks like
on my lap, so situation similar to your own, I think.
I've got two. Take that. But looks like we are going into game one here on Towers of Doom. We've got Assistant Newb Manager winning the toss and selecting first pick. Team Rainbow Strike Go, taking us to Towers of Doom. Quickly go over those map bans. We had Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass being banned out by TRSG, and Assistant Newb Manager taking out my favorite, Battlefield of Eternity, and Brax's Holdout. Alright, so Towers of Doom for game one. This is typically a great finale map, Rabid, but what do you like here?
I think one of the most common strategies is just getting someone who can double soak top and middle, and then kind of duking it out for the bottom lane as well as control the camps. Other than that, I think some teams do like to try some alternative strategies as well. Some people might try the Lost Vikings, Abathur, Sergeant Hammer sometimes sees play here. So there's a lot of different stuff that can work depending on how you want to play the map.
Excellent. Yeah, right away, Global's being targeted here as we see Dahaka taken out over on the side of Assistant Newb Manager. Team Rainbow Strike Go banning out the Falstad. See a lot of Falstad here. That's a gust into the death zone could be quite formidable if Falstad's brave enough to do the flyby move. Vala going to be banned out, one of the top DPS in the meta currently, especially for those sustained auto attack damage dealers. That auto attack build can be very difficult to fight into, especially on sustained team fights like these altars.
Yep, lots of opportunities on the map for small skirmishes, and Vala does scale pretty well throughout the game, so if you can avoid losing too much early on, she can get a lot of value in the late game.
All right, final ban coming out. Ooh, one of my favorites, Sylvanas, going to be taken out here, and of course, Sylv not only having the ability to shut down the bell towers and get those converted real quick here on towers, but also the Merc Queen be able to empower those sappers, which are such an important focal point on this map.
The crusade calls.
And Nolius going to go ahead and take up the Johanna. Team captain for Assistant Newb Manager. Going to get the strongest hero here in the meta, Rabid.
Well, there's the variant Stukov in response.
That seems familiar.
It does, yep. That seems like a popular strategy into the Johanna, so we'll see how that goes or what they choose to round that out with.
Yeah, it makes sense. All of her sustainability is in her abilities, so the biggest counter to her has always been silence. Forget the stuns, just make sure she can't hit any of her buttons.
Varian in general is pretty good too because of the Shield Breaker talent at level 13, where you essentially can remove her unstoppable pretty easily with that. So, but the Stukov backing it up makes it extra potent into pretty much anyone Varian can get his hands on. The Anduin helps a little bit, but the cooldown trade with the pull and the taunt is definitely in favor of the Varian.
Yeah, Anduin definitely a must pick there in response. I like that quick snap pick. But how about the Zagara? All the potential vision and Stukov, Varian, not two of the better heroes in clearing that creep. They do have tools for it, but cooldowns that you'd probably rather save for team fighting.
Yeah, it's an interesting pickup. You don't see it a ton on Towers of Doom, I don't think, but the vision certainly helps a lot, and then depending on what they go at level 10, you do have the option to get a more global presence with the Nidus network. Otherwise, going for the team fight with the Maw is also a pretty popular pick.
There's that Vikings ban. You were talking about it. They heard it, and they were like, you know what? I don't want to play against that.
That's fair. I wouldn't either.
Well, here's Hanzo and Li Ming as the 2 damage dealers for TRSG. Li Ming, of course, one of my favorites, and Hanzo, very good at being able to interrupt the caps here. The good long range poke damage. Not a whole lot of siege out of him, but he can also give that vision that could be so important. And one of my favorite things about him in this pick is his vision arrow can reveal those creep tumors, making it easier to clear the creep.
Yeah, that's true. It is fairly mana intensive to do it that way, but that is an option for him, especially given the other picks they're showing so far.
Meanwhile, we got some brotherly love matchup here. Is Genji going to be picked up? And so we've got brother versus brother. Leoric going to be the double soaker. So now who's going to match it here for this last pick for TRSG? Any ideas real quick? Not too late.
Well, they beat me to it.
Yeah, classic double soaker here. It's pretty much either Zol, Malthael, or Sonya. There are a couple other picks that could have worked there, but I like the Malthael. Really is able to carve up that Johanna, especially when she's stuck in that silence circle. And I don't feel like Malthael's too scared of Genji either.
Power to their burst combo. The Li Ming damage, and then the last rights to kind of top it off.
There you go. Yeah, get that reset for Li Ming. That's how we like to do it around here. All right. Well, any predictions here, Rabbit? I bring you in as the expert color commentator. So we got to see who you think's going to win this thing.
It's a tough call. I like most of what we're seeing on, and I think it's Newb management here on the left with the blue. So the Zagara backline for the solo ranged is kind of the big question mark for me. Is that going to be enough kind of damage up front to empower the Genji to go in and clean up? Leo late game is certainly pretty strong, but takes a while to scale. So for TRSG, I think if they can kind of lock in some kills early on and snowball a bit, I think overall their comp I think is a little bit stronger earlier on and might be able to kind of just run away with it if allowed to.
Meanwhile, I've got Sloth out in the chat. I'll always shout out our chatters out there. Nullius taking Joe and leading front as a captain should. Exactly. All right, well, let's get on in for game number 1 here. Towers of Doom on the left. We have assistant Newb manager. We have Nullius going to be playing that. Actually, wait a minute. That's the Leo. They did the swap de do on us there. Simeon going to be playing the Joe. We've got Shrinks on the Genji. Pink Blackout going to be on the Zagara, and we've got Nor going to be playing the Johanna.
All right, and for TRSG, we got X Havoc on the Varian, Tokibi on the Hanzo, Chopper on Stukov, Selim 11 on Malthael, and Robert on Li Ming.
And immediately we've got all 5 members of Assistant Newb Manager making their way down to bot, putting the priority in the priority lane. Not a big shocker there, but Nullius came down with them here, Rabid. So immediately Malthael, especially with that pale horse, he's going to be taking the lead in the solo lane double soaking.
Yep. And in the meantime, they've got half a tower down here, so a little bit of an advantage going up. Genji goes in for the finish, but doesn't quite get it there.
Yeah, nobody knows his tricks better than Hanzo. Immediately backing out of that situation, but Varian also getting very, very low here. So big pressure, big damage coming out early from Assistant Newb Manager.
Yeah, that's a lot of good damage into that wall, even without the help of a camp or anything, just the Zagara minions and kind of that early aggression.
That was good foreshadowing there, Rabbit. Speaking of camps, we got both teams heading on up to grab their respective camps. Doesn't look like either squad is interested in an invade in this moment, but it does look like Malthael is a little bit ahead right now on the rotation. He's going to get down here to to pick up what Nullius had dropped off. Meanwhile, both teams heading down to mid. Big damage. Varian getting very low. But once again, he's able to make it just far enough out. But now he's pretty chunked.
Yep. Got to play a little more careful on the Varian early, just because you don't have your big boy talent at level 4 yet. So they need like 25% more on this level here to get him up to the point where he's a little bit more of a threat for the other team.
He's almost a real boy, Rabbit. Almost.
Almost.
But first he's going to get blinded, condemned, and killed. And just before he got to become a real boy with his big taunt. But now it is a 4v3 down here in the bottom. His first blood goes over to assistant noob manager.
And something that maybe not a lot of people appreciate is just the health bonus that you get with the taunt talent as well. So that increases your maximum health and regen by 40%. So it is a pretty significant health difference with that level as well.
Former tank main giving us the secret cheat code to the game right there in Rabbit. But here's the rotation. Jumping up, and Malthael trying to juke jive, but can't quite make it out there, as Genji will get the last hit. And that is a second kill going over to assistant noob manager. And right here, as the triple altar spawn.
Yep. It was a good rotation. One of the advantages of the Zagara here, too, is the minions are pretty good at stalling, so it can buy you a lot of time with the poke as well as the long 2 shots.
Now, there's the taunt. Genji going to be leap of faithed back out by Anduin, so Anduin getting an eye on his father there for that kill. But for now, we do see Nullius on the flank here. He is coming down to make this a big 4v5. He eats a ton of damage, though. And Varian also having to get out on the other side. Both teams do walk away before there's too much death. But wait a minute, the Chastise comes in onto Hanzo. That is going to be enough to zone them at the very least. So that's going to be a second cap for the side of assistant noob manager as they take themselves a 4-point lead here.
Yep, and that was a 4v5 for TRSG as well, so good on them to kind of know when to call it quits and back up while Malthael was soaking the other lanes.
Now this is the power spike opportunity, though. Maybe not down 7, but they have the taunt available. But Robert getting super low on the backside. Team captain for TRSG, having to constantly deal with that Genji dive. The root comes out, and X-Havoc all kinds of low, and he is going to fall here. But can they get the counter kill onto Nor? Malthael rotated down, is trying his best, but the Iron Skin comes out. Wow, he's diving all the way in, Rabbit, but the heals keep coming through from Anduin, and they're turning around to try to get the double kill, but somehow Malthael walks away from this. Everybody's living on a razor's edge here.
No kidding. Just getting out with just a touch of health there at the end of it.
Meanwhile, Li Ming's just like so close to the resets.
TRSG did get their camp, so they have advantage here on the wave and are also able to pick up a kill with that taunt there on the Anduin.
Yeah, that's Daddy Varian saying, "Hey, you gotta position a little more safely there, son." Son?
And camp invade off of that as well with the man advantage.
Yeah, now the double altar spawn up in the top side. You almost gotta wonder if they have any thoughts of rotating up, but no, it looks like they're gonna go ahead and Malthael is gonna get out the stall. Oh yes, and they are gonna go ahead and rotate up. Here comes the greed play. Will it pay off here? Right away, Nor jumping in on the backside, trying to zone them away while Malthael was diving on the backside. Nullius very low, though. He's going to take another big shot there, but Varian is actually the first to fall. Genji going to jump up and get that Malthael kill, and now you got to wonder if Assistant Noob Manager is going to be able to cap both of these, as the gamble did not pay off, Rabbit.
Yeah, it's kind of the risky take when you play aggressive on these double altars top. If you aren't able to win the team fight on the aggressive side of the map, you kind of leave yourself open to lose your own as well. But it is still tough to cap it. There's a lot of stall opportunity, and Varian's back at full health, so
Now, there's the
Li Ming
kill
goes
on
down
Li Ming, though.
mid lane.
Yeah, the death timer is just so low this early in the game. Level 10s are up, but they're not going to be able to turn around and take advantage of that fact as Stukov goes ahead and gets the cap and will bring this game back to within 4. The level 10s are out for the side of Assistant Noob Manager. Looks like they're going to go ahead and get, the Entomb, which I was about to mention, but they trapped the Varian in it and they'll get themselves their 7th kill of the game. This has been turning into a bloodbath, Rabbit. But looks like it's going to be X-Strike along with the Devouring Maw taken in lieu of that team fight-oriented battle style they're playing with, along with the Blessed Shield and the Light Bomb.
Yeah, yep, a lot of good control tools, a lot of setups and combos available to them. So I think that's a good selection there. I don't know that you really need the global presence with the Nidus.
Genji going in with that light bomb. Oh, but
Ooh,
big combo from Robert. Almost enough, but everybody lives once again. Healer's too strong, Rabbit. Nerf healers again.
Protected, by the way, I think helped a little bit too.
That's it. Protected OP, always. Would you like to give the ults over on the side of TRSG? Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
Let's, give this team fight a second or two to play out. But Hanzo goes down first. Varian might not be able to get out of here either, but he's making his way out.
Yeah, that was
silence from the Stukov to buy him some time, but not quite enough.
Yeah, that was a big entomb there, but nice swipe from Chopper. But still, now they're turning around. They're going to be able to get the mouth veil as he collapses in. And that's going to be another triple kill here. So right now, team fights just being absolutely dominated by Assistant Noob Manager. They're not assisting anybody. They are just taking charge of this game.
Yeah, they're doing really well with kind of maybe punishing some of the positional or over-aggressive plays from TRSG, and the Zagara backline is definitely putting out the damage as well, almost 30,000 here at this point. Got a lot of creep going on in the bot lane as well, so a lot of vision over that lower altar area.
Yeah, just complete control over the vision here.
Before we get too many levels away from that, we got Wave of Force, Last Rites, Warbringer for the Varian, Dragon's Arrow for Hanzo, and Flailing Swipe for Stukov. Ooh, great silence to stop the Light Bomb engage. And Genji pays for it.
Yeah, there's the reset factor. Is now they're able to try to push back in and get this lane cleared out. But the bell tower has taken quite a bit of damage. The bell tower is definitely in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, living on a prayer there. I think another solid push, even without a camp, should be able to get that for noob management. Varian anchoring, but that creep should reveal his presence. Offlaners are both kind of stuck top. They're on their way.
Yeah, mid-altar spawning here, so an opportunity for TRSG to close this gap a little bit. But here comes the Light Bomb with the charge, the X-Strike, and Li Ming just gets completely blown up rapid.
Yeah, that was a great combo. Just as soon as those ults came up, they found that engage opportunity, and everybody pushed their R buttons.
Oh, and Malthael so close to making it out.
The first to go down, and Malthael follows shortly after.
So, how many hat tricks are we going to see here, Rabbit? Another triple kill, and uh-oh. Now the Chastides comes out, and they are going to finish off the bell tower, which means Varian no longer safe under their own tower. A nice job there by Assistant Noob Manager. Good macro. They held that altar spawn until they could get that bell tower, and now it'll be 5 shots going over. Gonna give an 11-point, or no, sorry, bad caster mat there. 13-point lead for Assistant Noob Manager.
Yep. Pretty big advantage. Do want to point out the Varian does have access to Shattering Throw now, since they've gotten level 13, which makes it a little easier to punish the Johanna, or at least engage on her and potentially execute the Silence combo, but we'll see if they can take advantage of that in the future team fights.
Meanwhile, the mid siege is on here. So much damage coming in from that Zagara. Meanwhile, Nolius does get taunted, but look at the turn as the Entomb comes out. Big damage on the backside. X-Strike not quite marking the spot, but does at least zone the members. Meanwhile, Malthael going to get caught up in that Devouring Maw. Able to pop the Unstoppable, though, and make his way on out. And somehow, we get through all that with no kills.
Yeah. They're able to survive that engage and kind of reset everything. Taking back the bottom fort here too, so stabilizing a little bit for TRSG.
And now the big question, 30 seconds. Can they get level 16? I believe they can. They are going to go ahead and make a play for the bottom sappers. You almost wonder if maybe they could have gotten the mid bell tower in time, but they are going to go ahead and looks like they're going to try to focus on top as they rotate out the safe way.
Yeah, trying to get mid back and then playing just for the safe tower. I think that makes sense, kind of given their map position.
This is, however, going to throw 10 shots over to the side of Team Rainbow Strikes Go's core, bringing them down to 9. Meanwhile, Hanzo and Varian both going to go down in mid. Nice defense. And Malthael actually falls as well. So we'll call it 3 hat tricks now. Another triple kill. And that just kind of seems to be their MO right now. They are focusing heavily on the team fighting. And their macro is not bad, but they're really winning this one in PvP.
Yeah, I think Leo certainly can clear, I think, pretty well. Double soaking is something that he can do, but the Malthael, I think, has a little bit of an advantage there with the wave clear speed and the Pale Horse, but the team fights definitely have been going in favor of Newb management so far. I
like Nor just trying to get in the way of all the Li Ming damage to keep this tower. That was a fun little game for him to play, I'm sure, with not just not a care in the world. Oh, here's the charge and the taunt. Last right's coming out, but the heals come out. Meanwhile, the dive on the backside, so much damage with that big burst combo. Malthael falls, 2 in the Maw, in the Entomb, and the theme continues. Triple kill after triple kill. Assistant Newb manager. I think they've got this one ready to close out on this double altar spawn in the bot rabbit.
Yeah, the Genji's been really problematic, I think, for them. Varian's kind of the single engage here for TRSG, and without another stun or an engage on their offlaner, they don't really have a way to punish the Genji once Varian engages on one of the front line for Newb management. So Genji's been able to get away with a lot, and there's not a whole lot that can be done to sort of lock him down or punish him, and he's gotten a lot of value out of that.
And there is the double cap and the final damage going out to the core. And game number 1 here on Towers of Doom, going over to the assistant Newb managers. They certainly didn't play like Noobs, Rabbit. I'm starting to think that this name might be a little bit misleading.
Well, they're Newb manager.
Oh, I gotcha.
So,
they're managing the Noobs. They are not the Noobs.
Right,
That's true.
Kind of like a coach, probably, would be my guess.
Well, in that case, I kind of want to be one of the Noobs that they're coaching.
Yeah, maybe they take applications or something. We could ask.
Yeah, we'll definitely. I mean, they're in B West, so that makes sense. All right, well, looking at the score screen here, first thing that jumps out to me right away is, as you said, that Leo soak, 23K on the soak to the 15, almost 16K for Malthael there. And of course, I mean, the second thing, Well, really, the first thing that jumps out is probably the 19 2 kills. Just complete and utter domination in the team fight realm here for assistant Newb manager.
Yep, I think it was hard. It seemed like it was hard for TRSG to get their combo going, or to get a pick in the beginning of the team fights, and then again, once the taunt is down, there isn't really another good consistent stun. Sure, Hanzo has the arrow, but outside of that, there isn't a good way to punish that Genji, and so I think he was able to do a lot of damage on the back line without a lot of support from the front. Malthael also rotated pretty aggressively a couple times, which I think generally is a good idea, or can give your team some big advantages, but I think they had a hard time, again, locking in the kills, and so part of that soak difference might be due to the rotations for that, and just kind of some of the missed opportunities there with the team fights.
Absolutely, and I really liked the counter dive strategy. Essentially, they would wait for the variant to dive in and taunt, and while Anduin was saving that taunt target, he was also throwing that light bomb onto Genji while he dived in and just engaged on the back line, really preventing a lot of that follow-up damage from coming through in the first place. And then the Newb would come in, and suddenly, you have that short cooldown on taunt, so if you miss it, you kind of want to walk away, but that Newb was saying, hold on, we are ready to team fight you now.
Yep.
Same with the Devouring Maw. A couple times they were on the retreat, and Ma came in and just said, hold on, we didn't give you permission to leave.
Yep, a lot of good team fight control in pretty much all of the heroics throughout their team. The other thing that's kind of interesting too, some teams will draft around this. Some teams, may just kind of, it might happen by happy chance, but all of their team fight cooldowns, with the exception of the Maw, are about the same duration. So they're 50-60 second cooldown. So pretty much every team fight, or whenever you're all pushing R together, those will all come off cooldown at the same time. So you're kind of able to fight on a more consistent rhythm. So whenever Johanna's got her Blessed Shield up, the Light Bomb, the Entomb, the Axe Strike, that should all be ready to go. And Ma's not that different, but it's a little bit longer cooldown, so that one could still be kind of plus or minus in the team fight.
All right, well, that is game one. We're going to take a quick break while we set up for game two, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game two of this B West matchup. All right, welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 of our best of 3 series here between Assistant Noob Manager and Team Rainbow Strike Go. After a dominating performance on Towers of Doom in Game 1, Assistant Noob Manager taking us here to Garden of Terror. Team Rainbow Strike Go picking first pick, first ban. So, what do you think we're going to see in this draft out of these two teams, Rabid?
Generally, for this map, I think you want a fair amount of wave clear or macro-oriented heroes, people who can do the camps. Globals certainly get a lot of value, and it looks like TRSG is recognizing that with their first ban here on the fall stand.
Yeah, matches their first ban from the last game as well. Dahaka was banned out on the other side, so we'll have to see if Assistant Noob Manager wants to make any adjustments, or if they want to just keep doing what brought him to the dance. And there it is, Dahaka going out. So immediately both those globals out, and we'll have to see if they if there are any adjustments that Team Rainbow Strike Go wants to make. They do have access to first pick here, so you got to wonder if Assistant Noob Manager is thinking about taking that Joe away.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It was left up last time, and I think Rainbow Strike may have had a plan to punish the Joanna pick if that was the first pick. So we'll see if Noob Management has maybe a similar strategy, or if they don't want to deal with that. Sylvanas also gets a lot of value on this map. It's pretty big, so you can push the lanes with her trait, depending on kind of the situation. If you want to forego some of the objective plays, you can push some of the side lanes and get a lot of value on damage structures that way, and particularly easily with Sylvanas or even things like a Nubarak.
Yeah, and there is the Joe, but just matching that first ban set, the Sylv going out again. So I imagine there's probably somebody over on the side of Assistant Noob Manager that really likes that Sylvanas, but Vala going to be the first pickup. That was the third ban for Assistant Noob Manager in the last matchup, so no surprise that they want to make sure they scoop that up before it gets taken off the board this time around.
Yep, that makes sense, and kind of depending on the build, Vala can contribute quite a bit to taking the camps if she goes the Hungering Arrow build, but even with the auto attack build or the multi-shot, you have a lot of smaller skirmishes and the objective fights to scale throughout the course of the game.
And Anduin, once again, going to be picked up for Simeon. But this time, Nora's going to go ahead and take the variant. So doing a little okey doke here as they steal away Team Rainbow Strike Go's go-to tank from the last game.
Yeah, a little swapperoo, but they go with a different support, whether that's a deny pick to prevent the Anduin from pulling the variant taunt, or if they have some other synergy ideas. It'll be interesting to see kind of what they do with that Anduin pick.
Meanwhile, Ragnaros, one of the more annoying heroes to have to play against on this map, very effective in defending against one lane worth of these Garden Terrors. With that Molten Core, but also the Lava Wave. This map can often run pretty late into the game, and that Lava Wave just gets harder and harder to deal with as the game goes along.
Yeah, you definitely get a lot of macro value from the Ragnaros. The trade-off, though, is Ragnaros has a little bit lower team fight presence, and definitely doesn't bring as much bulk to the front line, doesn't really have a lot of consistent CC. Outside of his heroic, depending on which one you take. So I'd be curious to see if they go 2 more frontliners on the side of Rainbow Strike, or if it's Ragnaros plus the tank kind of holding it down in front.
Yeah, Pink Blackout going to go ahead and steal another one of those picks from last game, as going to take the Li Ming, and Nullius going to go on to the Blaze. Meanwhile, we're going to see a repeat Hanzo performance here, and May going to close out the picks for Team Rainbow Strike Go.
Yep. So that does leave the Ragnaros as kind of the other frontliner for the Hanzo and Vala backline, which kind of opens it up for the Zeratul pick, I think.
Yeah, there you go. We could have seen that dive heavy presence coming. Last game it was Genji, and of course that was the ban out here. They took Genji off the board. So Shrinks is like, okay, well, if I can't have Genji, I'll show you my other dive hero.
Yeah, and it does give them another good light bomb target as well. You can get the blink or even a double blink into the back line with the Zeratul, and so it gives you a good range to engage from with that light bomb. So that'll be something that Rainbow Strike will have to watch for.
All right, any quick predictions on who you think might have a better shot at winning this one?
For myself, I think team fight wise, I definitely favor Newb management. Macro, if that's how they choose to play the game, which I think their draft kind of implies that. I think definitely goes to the side of Rainbow Strike. So kind of alternative strategies, and we'll have to see kind of which teams can commit to one or the other. And I think if Rainbow Strike takes too many team fights, or maybe gets pulled into scrapping around too much, they're not on their macro game, that might hurt them a little bit, and vice versa. If they're kind of running Newb management around the map, they might have a little bit less macro presence.
All right, well, let's get in here to game number 2 on Garden of Terror. We've got Pink Blackout on the Li Ming. We've got Nor on the Varian. Simeon going to be playing the Anduin. We've got Shrinks on the Zeratul. And up top, we've got Nullius on the Blaze.
All right, and we have X Havoc on the Mei, Toki B on the Hanzo, Chopper on the Rhaegar, Salim on the Vala, and Robert on the Ragnaros for Team Rainbow Strike Go.
And right away, a lot of pressure put on Pink Blackout on the bottom side, but Simeon is there to go ahead and heal up their mage player. Ooh, big orb going into... I always get excited for those big orbs, Rabbit. Li Ming, I'll never have any compunctions about sharing it on the stream. Li Ming, my favorite hero. So Pink Blackout just earned a couple of points just with that orb.
Well, I think thanks to ARAM, everybody understands the draw with the big orb hits.
There you go. Oh, but Pink Blackout is going to get pressured here. X Havoc charging in, but able to blink and just barely make it out of that blizzard.
Ragnaros is getting pressured pretty heavily top. I think Zeratul initially rotated up there to kind of start the lane rotations, and Blaze has been trading into him pretty well too, so he'll have to back.
Oh, meanwhile, Pink Blackout has scouted out Hanzo and a big chunk there. Nor actually just barely gets on the point, but actually decides to thinks better of it here. We saw a similar situation in the last game where Varian pushing maybe a little bit too far forward pre-4, but this time it's on assistant Newb manager's side. They decide to back off, but he doesn't quite have that extra oomph that he gets at level 4 yet.
Yeah, it was definitely worth a look. They had the numbers advantage, 4v3, but were maybe just a little bit late in looking for that. But Rhaegar is going to be the first one to feel the taunt combo, unfortunately. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Nor had that taunt available for like 2 seconds before he threw out the first taunt and immediately was ready to go. He was hungry for it. You could tell.
Yeah, well, it kind of sucks playing a hero that doesn't actually do much for 4 levels, so I can understand the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, ready to take advantage for sure. But that is first blood for assistant Newb manager. But we've got the first set of shamblers out here to protect the seed. And they are able to distract those shamblers effectively, though. But X Havoc comes up with the blizzard. Is going to get taunted for his trouble. But he will go ahead and ice block, heal up a little bit. And now the poke war is on. Up top, though, Robert going to get charged. No taunt available, but the orb, the fadeaway orb from Pink Blackout gets the kill, but they get the counter kill from Hanzo onto the Li Ming, and it's actually Team Rainbow Strike Go exchanging the 1-for-1 and getting the seed.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened to the Zeratul in that fight. He must have gotten zoned down to bottom lane, but they weren't quite able to hold their presence around the objective quite as well as they would have liked, I think.
Meanwhile, huge wave down here in bottom. Team Rainbow Strike Go gonna push that forward, but there is the taunt. But Nor doesn't really have the follow up available. Assistant Noob Manager kind of a little all over this bottom lane right now, but a new seed is spawning, and as usual here on Garden of Terror, the action just never really stops on this map.
Yeah, we got quite the bush party here as well. Rhaegar, unfortunately, going to be the one to find it again.
Yep. Rhaegar, definitely finding all the bones right now. He's, I don't know if he's looking for them, but he's finding them all. Ragnarok's going to go ahead and
here on the May.
Chunking him low.
Gave away, though.
Rag gonna Molten Core to stall the objective for a little bit. And that will stall long enough for Team Rainbow Strike Go to get their support back. Rhaegar has spawned. May actually did hit the back button, though, to heal. Robert gonna step up and get chastised. Shrink's diving in on the Vala, gets a lot of damage out. The stun comes down, though, and a big stun there from Nullius on the Blaze. Gonna lock down and kill the Ragnaros. Team Rainbow Strike Go is gonna stick around here, though. They do have that camp pushing in top. Taunt goes out onto Semyon.
Cycle out to deal with that. He's on his way back now, though. Ragnaros just spawned as well. See kind of how much more time Rainbow Strike can buy here. Vala versus Li Ming in the back line, but not quite able to find a kill. And goes down for it.
Yeah, and that will be in the seed number 2 going over to Assistant Noob Manager. So we've got a 1-for-1 split. Meanwhile, about a level lead right now for Assistant Noob Manager. They're getting real close to those 10s, and we're about to see where that other seed will spawn. Going to be a fairly neutral location on the bot side, but looks like Assistant Noob Manager going to have level 10 for this next one, where kind of doubt Team Rainbow Strike Go is going to be able to get there.
Yeah, they won't be able to soak up that deficit, so I would imagine they'll have to just kind of give that and look for value elsewhere. They could certainly push the top lane and try to get some structures down. Otherwise, they'll have to look for a pick or something like that, but unfortunately, it looks like the Hanzo is the one who will go down prior to the objective, so like they're just going to shove mid lane instead with the camp, push that up at least.
Yeah, and meanwhile, here's the 4-man rotation from Team Rainbow Strike Go. They see how far Nullius is in there, and they are going to see what they can do. The charge, though, going to get him halfway back to his structures. Nullius does go ahead and pop the bunker, but it is not going to be enough. So that will be a successful rotation and pick. Get him to level 10. The seed, however, does go over to Assistant Noob Manager, but I like that response from Team Rainbow Strike Go. They got something out of that, at least.
Yeah, it was a good way to find value elsewhere on the map. You know, they knew they couldn't contest at the objective, and they were also down 1. So, looking for value elsewhere and being able to find that pick, get some catch-up XP as well as a little bit more progress in this top lane.
Yeah, stealing that siege camp away too. Nice denial. They are starting to catch up a little bit on XP. They're a little less than a level now. And seed spawning definitely on the side of Assistant Noob Manager's map. That's a little bit of a bush party going on here. I don't think they want the Varian. Stall gonna come out from X Havoc, I imagine, with the Ice Wall actually. Catches one. Into the Dragon Strike. Interesting combo, but big Light Bomb comes out on the other side. Zeratul getting popped down very low, but Rhaegar goes down. He did get his ult, however, but now Pink Blackout's got the resets. But Li Ming actually falls before she can really take advantage of him, but it's still a good exchange. 3 for 1. And, oh no, Hanzo stepping out a little bit too far. They're still in the zip code, my friend. Gotta be careful as there's the 3rd seed.
Yeah, Looked like they were able to get out with, you know, kind of minimal casualties there, but then the rotation up from the Varian and the Zeratul to lock 2 more in definitely gives them an advantage here on this objective push.
Yeah, going to give them all kinds of clearance to start working on these. They also do have the 13 talents here. Meanwhile, May gets caught up in the stun and then the chastise, but going to just slow that push. Meanwhile, top fort falls to that push. And look out on the rotation. Nor is looking. Ice Wall not finding the mark there. Chastise comes out.
Yeah, and Rainbow Strike is not 13 yet either, so I imagine they probably want to get a little bit more XP here before they really take another big fight if they can help it.
Nolius pushing in that bot lane, gets the bottom fort. It looks like this is going to be a triple fort play for Assistant Newb Manager. They're really able to take advantage of that that fight. Or are they going to get the mid? Here comes the charge and the taunt. The lava wave comes out here in lane along with the molten core, so they are trying to see if they can catch them on the way out, and they do. Varian will go down.
Yeah, that was a great punish from Team Rainbow Strike Go. I think, you know, had the new management played a little bit slower for the fort, they probably could have gotten it for free, you know, just kind of poked it as opposed to kind of the whole team being under there. But then you know, all the ults and the lava wave coming in, I think was just a little bit too much for them to make a clean escape.
All right. 11-4 right now on the kill counter. Still about a quarter level lead right now for Assistant Noob Manager as they're cleaning up mid here with Nolius. Grabbing both teams going ahead and kind of splitting the map, grabbing their camps as they do. Kind of a little bit of a breather. I like how both teams on this map usually tend to give each other a little room to breathe for this PvE aspect of the game.
Yeah, Team Rainbow Strike, though, I think needs to be proactive right now if they want to try to find a fight before 16. It's closing quick.
There is the charge, taunt, combo, and Robert. Actually gets a little bit of help. Yeah. Just living long enough to get Chopper in there with the Ancestral. Noir going to go ahead and pull... Or sorry, Nor going to be pulled by Simeon there.
The Dragon Strike, I think, helped a lot too, just to kind of create some space for Robert to get out of it. That was great.
Meanwhile, Nolius gets in there and does get the interrupt before the seed can be capped. Oh, big damage though. Toki B onto the Zeratul. X-Havoc getting kind of low, trying to slide out, but not going to be able to escape. May goes down. Here come the resets, Rabid. 1, 2, 3. And there's 4 up top with the Vala as well. 4 for nothing exchange. An Assistant Noob Manager. Picking up where they left off in game number 1.
Yeah, definitely cleaning house with that last team fight. I think, you know, as much as we kind of joked about it with the Ragnarok's living, I think the heroics that were spent to keep him alive in that bot lane engage kind of hurt them in that team fight. Not having the Ancestral or the Dragon Strike quite available for that, I think, was problematic for him.
Yeah, and also not having 16. You know, they regrouped, and it looked like they might have had it, but I think once they got interrupted, they needed to back out there. That was tough. And here comes the taunt onto X-Havoc. Gonna ice block, but I think that's just delaying the inevitable. There is the pick. I think Blackout getting low, but blinking back out and doing the hokey pokey there to get some damage, but is able to make it out alive, and that's another 2 for nothing exchange. Meanwhile, look at the top lane.
The Giants putting in some work.
Level 16s do come out, but 2 members down here for TRSG. You would think this is going to be an easy cap for Assistant Noob Manager, and they may even, yep, they will look to invade the siege camp. Nor going to go ahead and take that aggressive position, waiting for anybody who might pass by. Team Rainbow Strike Go kind of locked in the base right now.
Yeah, there's one level before level 20 for noob management as well. So I think if Rainbow Strike wants to make a play here before level 20, now is kind of their window.
Oh, and he was trying to get into the Molten Core, but Robert gonna end up getting taunted out of it. Almost got that zoning ice wall out, but it was just a little bit too far in there, and that's gonna be another pick on the Rag.
That should give noob management enough time to get level 20, although the lanes are pushed pretty heavily towards Team Rainbow Strike's base, so it might be a little bit harder for them to pick up that XP, but I don't think they're really in any rush given that Ragnaros is still down for 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have, Rabbit. Oh
It's
man,
yep.
all these lanes are so far pushed out. Can't get any XP. Well, this will be another camp invading right now. Assistant Noob Management just painting the map blue.
A seed has sprouted. Best not
Seeds sprouting in the bot lane. Shambler's ready to defend it, and it looks to me like Team Rainbow Strike Go is ready to make a go of this, even without level 20. Oh, look at Nor. This is a crazy rotation from Nor coming in on the backside. He's gonna charge in, gets the taunt. He is kind of alone back there, but over the wall, get the orb, the triple stun from Nullius. X-Havoc is in all kinds of trouble. Chopper is running for his life. And I think this might be the beginning of the end, Rabbit.
Yeah, that's objective and full team wipe.
Simeon already calling the GGs here. Excellent execution.
3-level deficit too. I think that was just kind of more of a play of desperation for Team Rainbow Strike. You know, trying to make something happen before that objective phase, and didn't really feel like they had the space to wait for 20. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think in any other situation, that is an absolutely suicidal, insane rotation from Nor. But they just had so much advantage in that situation that he was able to get away with it and take advantage. That is going to be game number 2, the series and the domination, going over to Assistant Noob Manager. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to the team captain, Nullius, see if he wants to come in for an interview real quick. Do you want to give us your game summary wrap-up, Rabbit?
Game summary wrap-up. Well, I mean, I think...
It's a new thing. We're starting it right now. It'll be taking the Nexus by storm anytime.
I didn't get the memo. Okay. Well, I want to kind of go back to the draft and some of the comments I made there earlier. I think, you know, having the 3 heroes, the Varian, the Zeratul, and the Blaze, who can kind of push into and dive the side of Rainbow Strike. You know, having the Mei as kind of the solo tank, and Ragnaros not having a lot of, you know, peel or kind of threat for, say, the Zeratul, made it pretty challenging, I think, especially with the Light Bomb synergy and then kind of the Li Ming firepower behind it. So really well executed team fights, and then I think that allowed them the space to sort of balance out some of the macro advantage that Team Rainbow Strike had built up with their draft.
All right, let's see if we can get Nullius. Actually, let's go ahead and hop into we'll hop into lobby 2 in NGS real quick. Any talents standing out to you, Rabbit?
I think the Varian got a lot of value out of the, what is it, Mortal Strike at level 13 into the Mei. You know, you can kind of engage on her, and even though she has the Unstoppable and the heal, it kind of limits the heal that she gets out of that, as well as Ancestral if that's in play. You know, Vala going the Hungering Arrow build I think makes sense.
Hello.
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 How art thou?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. That was a fun couple of games, and really strong performance from your squad.
Thank you.
And of course, you know I'm always a big softie when it comes to Li Ming. Definitely my favorite hero. So gotta give a big shout out to some awesome Ming play. How about 7-2 with 52k damage there, Rabbit? That was really something.
Yeah, it looked really good.
I wanted to. I am really bad about being really aggressive. That's why I got punished a couple times by the Hanzo, which was very good on that player's part to keep tabs on me. But I was screaming for pool.
There were a couple of times where he kept blinking back in and then immediately blinking back out when you were at 10%, and I was like, "That's how Li Ming should play right there. Just not a care in the world, you know."
Yeah. I love to play her freestyling. It's a lot of fun. Pairing it up with like a Varian combo is very strong too.
Absolutely. They're not really skill shots if they're standing still, right?
Correct. They're just combos.
They're just combos at that point. All right. Well, Rabbit, do you have any burning questions?
I think for the first game, you guys got the Johanna first pick. Is that something that you tend to grab if it's up? I know a lot of teams are kind of first banning her, first picking her right now. Is that sort of where your team sees her as well, or are you kind of, you know, more just looking at her as like a generalist tank to kind of start the draft off? How does she fit into that for your team?
We consider her pretty S tier in our eyes. We have a lot of respect for Johanna. So if she's left open, yes, we will take her. If their first pick, we try not to let it through, just because we know that Johanna is like a gateway to allowing a lot of combos, and she can be in your face. She's got an unstoppable by like level 1, so she's very, very strong. And the blinds hurt really bad into like any auto attacker really too. So very, very strong hero. So yes, we will take her if you let her.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. And kind of drafting around that, then it looks like, you know, between the two games at least that we saw today, your team tends to prefer kind of multiple people who can either dive or kind of play in the front line. You know, Genji sort of rounding out your team in the first game, and then Zeratul in the second game. Is that something that you found works pretty well for your team, or is that just kind of how the drafts worked out tonight? What has that been like for you guys?
Honestly, it was how the drafts worked out tonight. I would say that across the board with the team that we have both dive and poke. So it's really going to depend on our who we are facing and what heroes they are going to plan to pick. So tonight, we knew that they were going to play Vala, so we planned to ban her out. But then we also planned to punish a Vala if it were to be played, and that's where the Zeratul and the Genji came into play.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So kind of keeping it flexible, but also keeping an eye on what your opponent's playing and
Exactly.
plan for that. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Last question, just kind of in regards to your draft on Garden of Terror. You know, Varian, he's a pretty solid tank, but he doesn't really bring much to the macro department. And Li Ming is certainly a great assassin, but also can sometimes struggle a little bit, I feel like, in terms of consistent wave clear or quickly taking camps. Did you feel like your comp was maybe going to struggle a little bit macro-wise, especially into a team that had Ragnaros, or were you pretty confident that you could kind of manage the lanes and the camps pretty well?
We knew from the start that it was going to be a challenge if we did not stay on top of the lanes. So we branched out as much as we could. I would just continuously go to bottom lane if I needed to and just keep hitting at the towers because, Li Ming is not going to do a lot for sieging. So whatever I can get, I'm going to get it. And so that's kind of like what our comp was. We knew there was going to be a risk with not having a lot of wave clear, but it was kind of the risk that we were willing to take. But we knew, like I said, we knew that there was going to be a risk, but we stayed on top of it. We were calling out the macro calls because we didn't want that situation to happen to us. It's where we fall behind because especially with having Li Ming and Zeratul, it's not the greatest wave clear.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. And having the team fight advantage, I think, helps a lot too. I think some teams maybe try to spread their draft a little too thin. They want it to be good at everything, but if you're able to commit to a particular idea and know what you're good at, I think that you can make up for some of those weaknesses in other ways too.
Mm-hmm. And scouting helps with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is just week 1, of course, in the
Yes.
NGS season. So again, much like in my last match, if you were going to start out week 1 anyway, this is definitely how you would ride it up. But my question is more for the long game for you guys, which is what are your guys' goals this season? How far do you think you're going to have to take this season for you guys to feel like you were satisfied and had a successful season?
I would say that the players that I am working in, at least from like my standpoint, the players that I'm playing with, they're very wonderful people, very calm, and we seem to be organized as a group. And I have no doubt that we could do very well in our division. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself because we still have a lot of work to do. Because there are definite teams that we're keeping a very, very close eye on that we know is going to be strong contenders in our division. So I can't say that we're going to be number 1 or anything like that. But I think that we have a very strong chance of being in top 4 for sure.
All right, and also a very important question. You guys are, of course, called the assistant Newb managers. So, as a returning noob to the game, where do I apply to be managed by the assistant Newb managers?
Reach out to our captain, Ois, or Nolius, in game. He knows all about being a new manager.
All right, well, we will definitely do that. But before we let you go, it would be remiss if we didn't give you an opportunity for shout-outs. So if you got anybody in particular that you want to shout out before we close this out, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I would like to thank our casters. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your day to do something. As well as our opponents. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Love TRSG. I was part of the community last season. I love just seeing you guys. And shout out to my team. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your group. And shout out to our future opponents for coming for you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for stopping in with us and hanging out. And congratulations on the big win. We'll let you get back to your team.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too.
All right. Well, that is going to close it out for us. But before we do head off, Rabid, thank you very much for joining me. It's always more fun to have a co-caster and a little easier on my voice. So I appreciate your time. And are there any shout outs you want to make before we head out?
New follower.
No, not really. Just thank you to you for the invitation and happy to hang out for the evening.
Aw, thanks, Ektar. I'm happy to be back too. It was nice to have a break from the Nexus every now and then. I think it can't be too much of a good thing sometimes, but it's good to be back, and I do plan on casting quite a bit this season. So everybody, don't be afraid to hit that follow button. Come back for some more Nexus Gaming Series action. We are going to keep it here in the NGS family, though. We're going to send it over to Eternally Blue TV. Originally, I was going to send it over to Last Malker TTV, but it looks like he's just finished up. But looks like we're in Game 3 on Tomb of the Spider Queen over on Eternally Blue TV. So stick around for that raid. And until next time, for the NGS, for the Nexus Gaming Series, and for Rabid Penguin, my excellent co-caster, I am Jay Zahn, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.